All right, folks, as you can see, it's just me this week. Don, real busy man. He's always either on the road or always promoting the brand. So Don will be back next week, as far as I know, but so we'll fill in for him this week. But guys, we got a big show today. We got several people calling in today, I believe, what they're telling me in the back. We got a lot of questions to answer. We're just moving right along through this year. It'll be hunting season before we know it. But well, anyway, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and as soon as we get back, we'll get the show started and get going with it, guys.
Rise and shine. It's time to hunt.
Repel and kill the bugs that bug you most with the all-natural 100% deep-free BioShield.
You've waited your whole life for this moment. Don't spoil your opportunity because of poor preparation. Keep your optics clean and fog-free for a clear shot every time. Fog Zero.
Introducing Scent Defense, a revolutionary 3-in-1 formula from Top Secret. Infused with antimicrobial silver copper synergy technology to attack odor before it starts. Fortified with NeuroX to attack and repel insects instantly. Scent Defense is specifically formulated to attract deer while simultaneously destroying odor. Scent Defense, the 3-in-1 formula for success.
Okay, folks, we're back, and again, Thursday night, and like I said, we're just moving right along through the year here. Whitetail recovery period right now, all over the Midwest, all over the United States here. Of course, whitetails in the North and the Midwest, they have more of a recovery period than we do because the temperatures are not near as hard on the animals as it is up in the Midwest and up in the North and even out west where it gets brutally cold. So down here it's already greening up. We'll be ready to plant summer plots before long. So we're kind of getting the grounds initially broken again, getting them disced up and getting them ready, planting the food plots. I know a lot of people planning on planting lab beans and just all kind of stuff like that. Iron clay peas. Personally, I like sun hemp. May even plant some iron and clay peas with the sun hemp this year. But that sun hemp, I know I've talked about it on the show before. Really, if you hadn't ever tried it, you ought to really consider it. Sun hemp gets to be about 8 to 10 feet tall, and it grows really fast. It's really suited good for areas that you have a lot of whitetails, high numbers of whitetails. I know a lot of times whenever I've planted just iron and clay peas or lab, I never can get them to come up and stay. As soon as they come up out of the ground, the deer are eating them and then they're gone. So they offer nothing for the deer for the most part. So, but now that sun hemp, whenever you plant it and it starts coming up, it gets to a phase the deer cannot keep up with it. It grows so fast, and once it hits about a foot tall, it seems like a week or two, it's 2 or 3 feet tall. So it's amazing amount of protein. I think it's like 30% protein in sun hemp. So, and once the deer get to it, man, they love it. They really love it. I think you'll really like it. It works good because it also it shades out all the weeds underneath it because it gets so tall. So by the time it gets to fall planting season, you hardly even need to. It's awesome. You just mow it and disc it in, and it puts nitrogen back into the soil, keeps a lot of the weeds out of it. It's great stuff. You might give it a try. But now we're into turkey season. And like they put on the screen up here, when I'm reading in front of me, it says turkey season equals BioShield season. So if you hadn't heard of BioShield, if you hadn't ever watched the show before, the first time you tuned in, BioShield, awesome product. BioShield spray, it's all natural, repellent, repels ticks, mosquitoes, fleas, bed bugs, chiggers. Wonderful for chiggers, red bugs. It does great. Actually, that's an 8-ounce bottle. We have it in a 4-ounce this year as well. Kind of convenient. Mom can throw it in her purse for the kids. Works great on gnats and black flies. Gnats are bad right now down here in the south. BioShield we also have in hair and body wash, which you think, well, why in the world would you want it in a hair and body wash? Well, we have it in a system. We have all three. We have hair and body wash, we have a laundry detergent, and we have the spray. So if you're washing your hair and body, that's protection. Then you wash your clothes with it. That really, especially the laundry detergent, really helps keep ticks off of your clothing. And then you do the spray on top of that. You got a triple protection system that really, really helps keep the biting insects off of you. So works very well. Now they're tugging at me. I think we got a phone call coming in here. Yep, here it is. All right, you got Steve Burklow standing in for Don Bell. Who we got? Uh-oh, did I do that? Maybe I did. I about forget which button to hit. I think, is that him? Okay. All right, you got Steve Burklow standing in for Don Bell. Who we got? Is this Big Bill?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Bill, how you doing, sir? Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back. Thanks for taking my call.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I apologize. It's just me this week. Don's out on the road this week. He should be back next week.
Yeah, that's no problem.
But how's everything up in Indiana?
It's quite mild right now. A little rain, but we'll take it.
I heard that. Boy, I mean, it come a gully washer here today in Florida.
Yeah, we've had off and on showers all day, and it's in the mid-60s, so we'll take that for March.
I heard that. I think that's about the same down here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's your question tonight, Big Bill?
Well, last week we were kind of discussing some new property that I'd leased, and
right.
and that I had never really got into using. The doe in heat or buck lure. Right. Because I've never been comfortable with knowing what time of year do you really use, the doe in heat eustress, and then what's the right time to use that buck lure, Right. And how much? How do you know how much? And that's always been confusing to me, so I've always tried to descent and not use anything and just, wait for them to walk by me.
Right. Right. Well, I tell you what, and you never use Top Secret, and I'll go back even before Top Secret. I was a little hesitant too about using estrus and buck lure and stuff like that, because I have had does actually get spooked by the estrus before. But I'm gonna be dead honest. Whenever I first used Top Secret and have used it since, I use it a lot, of course. I've never had a doe get spooked by it. Matter of fact, quite the contrary. I was telling Don on one of the shows not long ago, I had a doe this past bow season right underneath me, and I had put a scent trail out of buck urine, and she couldn't get enough of it. She sniffed it. I mean, I could hear her just trying to breathe it all in. If I wanted to shoot her, I could have shot her 50 times. She was just perfect, 15 yards broadside bow shot. But I tell you, with Top Secret, it's not going to spook them. It can only help bring them in. And kind of the rule of thumb we tell everybody, on the buck urine, you can use that every day of the season, from the opening day of bow season all the way to the end of the season. And the way I do it, I use the foam more than anything. I'll foam it from the time I hit the woods all the way up to my stand, and I'll run it out past my stand, and since I'm bow hunting, I'll put it out about 20 yards in front of my stand, so a deer, if he walks by, he's walking by broadside, or a doe, it turns them broadside so they can walk straight out in front of you about 20 yards, because to me, I hate being right up on top of them. If I got a choice, I'd rather have them about 15, 20 yards out. And I do it about every fourth or fifth step. I'll hit a couple of pumps of the foam, 2 or 3 pumps of the foam. You really can't use too much, but again, the buck urine every day of the season, the estrus, the doe estrus, from the first time you start seeing does starting to get chased, add the estrus to the buck urine. And as far as
too. Okay.
Yeah, use the. I mean, with the foam, it's just, if you'll get the foam especially, we kind of push the foam because it's really easy to use. And it's 8 ounces. It's really a good economical for your money. Retails for $20 for an 8-ounce bottle. It's hard to beat that, and that'll last you a good while. But you can do the buck urine and then alternate with the estrus, and you got a buck chasing a doe. Yeah. So as soon as the does start getting chased, add the estrus to it. We also have buck tarsal gland, which I really like. And I have a lot of friends that like to go to Kansas. They really like the tarsal gland for the buck tarsal. And rule of thumb on it is also kind of like the estrus. You really start using the tarsal whenever the rut, whenever they start chasing does. So other than that, that's really about it. Just a good rule of thumb to go by. But man, I tell you, we've had some really good success with those. It drives them crazy, the estrus especially, those bucks. But
if you put that out, I got another part of the question, if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely.
If you put that out, how long is that good for? I mean, should you do it? If you hunt the same stand in the same area, should you do it each time you go, or is that after a couple of days, you know what I mean?
Right. No, I do it each
morning, or
Right. I do it each time because it's going to last. It's going to last 3 or 4 hours. Then it's going to start slowly dissipating. So sure. I use it each time I go in. It's a common thing in my front pocket. I'll go every time I go in the woods. I'll lay a trail, but of course, it's not going to work 100% of the time, like anything. But
sure.
But when it does, it's amazing to watch those does or bucks. When they hit that trail, that scent trail, it's funny how they'll lick it and they'll walk right down that. And it's nice, especially if you're a bow hunter. It's nice because it puts them broadside coming by your stand.
Sure.
So
that always helps.
Yeah, it does. It always does. But it's fun to do that, and when you can have a role in actually attracting the deer, it's pretty neat.
Yes, sir.
But
okay.
Well, I hope that answered.
Helps me a bunch. I appreciate it very much.
All right. Well, I know you're looking forward to that property this year, and we're looking forward to hearing some stories on it.
Yes, sir. I'll sure send the photos, and I'll stay in close contact with y'all.
All right, Bill. We appreciate you calling in.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
All right. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, Big Bill Hornaday from Rushville, Indiana. He's got a nice place he's going to be hunting this year. I think he's at new property he's going to be hunting. Hadn't been hunted in several years. Sounds nice. We tried to get the address, but he wouldn't give it to us, but it's okay. All right, we got some top secret website questions. First one's from Paul Stillman from Absecon, New Jersey. It said, 2 weeks ago, Don and I discussed the use of a deer decoy. This year, I want to hunt this big buck that I hunted all last year differently. I am determined to hunt him strictly with top secret scents and decoys. I would like to start a mineral station in the area away from my stand. Do you think this will bother him? If not, could you discuss what to use and how to start one? I don't want to make him bait-wise. How often do I refresh it if starting now? I'm going into the area as little as possible. Well, that's very smart, going into the area as little as possible. And Paul, this is my personal preference and kind of going on the deer. Of course, most of my hunting and Don's hunting is down here in the South, in Alabama and Florida, and we do go to Illinois and Kansas and other places too. But if you can, honestly, I don't know that I would start a mineral station. Because once you do that, and you're gonna go in, of course, and start keeping it fresher. Even if you put it away from your stand, he's gonna know that's different. He just is. It's something that's not It's just not normal habitat in that area. So once you introduce that, now small bucks, even up to 2.5, 3.5-year-old bucks, may not be a problem. They may come in there and love it and you get a shot. But if you're hunting a big buck, which it sounds like, more than likely he's a big mature buck, and if he's the dominant buck, which sounds like it may be in that area, he didn't get that way being stupid. So, man, I just don't think I would do that. I think I would use a top secret, go in there with a decoy, and the decoy is a good idea. Get some top secret put on him, use that decoy, try to draw him. If you're bow hunting, what I like to do with a decoy, and of course the use of scents, is if you have a good idea, you know where he's coming in or which area, where he's bedding and where he's going to be entering the stand location, try to get that decoy put just on the other side of your stand. If he's coming in over here, you want him to where he's walking right by you, and then that way you can get a shot as soon as he walks by you where he's not alert or seeing you draw back. You want to get him just quartering away as soon as he crosses by you where he's not up in your line of sight. But if you'll do that and put the scent over there with the decoy so he sees it and he has to walk by it and he's not aware of you right there in the tree, that'd be great. That'd be the perfect world right there. But again, I just don't think I would use a mineral station. That's just my preference. You may have a total different thought about that, but man, they're smart. And the bigger they get and the older they get, the smarter they get. So, man, I just think, and I'm that way about not only minerals, but corn or anything baiting them like that. I feel like you have a lot better chance of killing a big quality buck not using any of it. Not food anyway, not any minerals or corn or any kind of thing like that. Now, of course, the scents and stuff, trying to draw them in, that's natural. Absolutely do it. But I think, was that all the part of the question? I think it was. Anyway, if you have something different about that, Paul, and you want to discuss that further, call in, and I know Don would probably like to talk to you about that as well. He may have a different thought than I do, but if not, or if he does, call in next week and we'll be glad to discuss that in length on the show. So just let me know what you think about that, Paul. We appreciate you using our products. Hopefully you'll take him down this year. But all right, they're tugging at me to go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Rise and shine. It's time to hunt.
Repel and kill the bugs that bug you most with the all-natural 100% D3 BioShield.
You've waited your whole life for this moment. Don't spoil your opportunity because of poor preparation. Keep your optics clean and fog-free for a clear shot every time. Fog Zero.
Introducing Scent Defense, a revolutionary 3-in-1 formula from Top Secret. Infused with antimicrobial silver copper synergy technology to attack odor before it starts. Fortified with NeuroX to attack and repel insects instantly. Scent Defense is specifically formulated to attract deer while simultaneously destroying odor. Scent Defense, the 3-in-1 formula for success.
All right, guys, we're back, and we're going back to a top secret website question, and this is from Rick Cogswell from Naples, Florida. It says, I purchased your Reserve Privilege Doe Estrus Scent Saver combo in December of 2015. It says it was a bright yellow color. I never opened it to use it because I broke my collarbone and I could not hunt. It was still a bright yellow color 1 month ago. It says I've stored this in my gun safe inside my home with the air conditioner. It says I noticed it today and found it to be a dark brown. It says I'm wondering if this is normal because I have more of your product that is still a bright yellow. I will be very unhappy due to the cost if it is not any good and I have to throw it away. Well, Rick, there's good and bad on that. The bad is it is no good. Let me back up. I say no good. That pretty much puts it like any other product on the market, the way you have it now, because it has been ammoniated, so it's dark urine just like all the other products on the market. That's what sets Top Secret apart. Oxygen-free, clear yellow urine, says the deer is there now. So we'll take care of you on that. That's the good side of that. The good news is, Rick, if we hadn't already done it, we'll make good on that and we'll replace that for you, because that's the whole premise behind Top Secret Deer Sense. Bright yellow is oxygen-free urine from collection to bottle. And so it sounds like you might have had some air get into it just a little bit, and it doesn't take much or it doesn't take long to happen. So we'll follow up with you and take care of that for you. Appreciate you using the product. And I think we got a phone call coming in. Yep, there it is. All right, you got Steve Burklow. How you doing? Who we got?
Pat.
All right, Pat, how you doing tonight? From Ontario?
Yes.
Wow,
Northern.
way up there.
Oh, middle of Ontario there, I guess.
I hear you. It's about, what's the temperature up there? About 80 right now, or?
No, actually, it's been a really bad day with freezing rain and wet snow and everything else today. She's sitting about -5, -6 right now.
Oh my Lord, are you serious? Wow, I was a little far off of there. -5. Jeez, man, that's bad.
You're a little confused up here right now.
Man, I'm telling you what, that put me, man, -5. That'd be tough.
Yeah.
Well,
I've seen a couple of nice ones out yesterday. They were out in the field, so it was nice yesterday, nice and sunny. They were out, and today it's like this.
Wow. So they hadn't dropped their antlers yet. Wow. Yeah, I hear you. Well, Pat, what's your question tonight?
I was just wondering around my watch, around my bait net, how far apart and how many mock scrapes should I be putting out? Like, how far apart should I be putting them? And
Right. Well, Pat, do you mainly gun hunt, bow hunt, or both?
Actually, I do a lot more bow hunt than I do rifle hunt.
Right. Well, whenever I do mock scrapes and use the scents, I try to put mock scrapes about. I usually try to hit them a line and put them about 20 to 30 yards apart. And I'll do probably a line of about, since I'm bow hunting, I'll do a line of about 4 or 5 scrapes where I can reach comfortably in bow range. That's, of course, that can vary, and it doesn't have to be that way, but at least 2 or 3 mock scrapes where you can actively put some scent in that to recreate the scrape. But that's kind of what I do, and I'm not saying that's the way to do it, but I know Don, that he'd probably say the same thing. That's kind of what we do.
Okay. This is Steve, is it?
Yes, sir. Yeah, this is Steve. Don's on the road this week.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's out. He's out pushing product.
Yeah.
Staying busy.
I think I talked to you before about bow hunting too there last year.
Oh, did you? Yeah, I remembered your voice. That's right.
Yeah.
You're not from the South, and so.
No,
and I'm sure
no, I'm from Ontario.
I'm sure.
Born and raised here.
Yeah, I'm sure I don't sound like I'm from Ontario either.
No. No, actually, my hometown area is Kingston, in that area.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I've been to Canada one time hunting. I had a blast.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
Alberta, I suppose.
No, it was Saskatchewan, and it was.
Yeah, that's good out there too, they say. I haven't been out there, but.
Oh, it took us an hour and a half ride to get out in the middle of the woods to where we were going. It was a long way. I mean, out in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
Man.
I used to hunt that way until I moved where I am now, and now I just walk out my back door right onto Crown land, so.
Oh, is that right? Great.
Yep.
Awesome. How many acres you got there to hunt?
3,200.
Dang. Wow. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic.
I got a good hunting area now. I got 3,200 of Crown land behind me, and across the road in the other area is another 3,200.
Good night. Well, that sounds great.
So I just walk out the back door, jump on the 4-wheeler and 2-wheeler, or go to my watch, or So it's great that way.
Man, that's outstanding, outstanding. Well, Pat, I appreciate you calling in tonight. Man, send us some pictures this fall when you knock down that old big one.
Well, I tried to get you a good picture. I sent a picture of a 12-pointer to Don.
Did you?
He's been coming into my watch good last year, but he was coming in at dark every night, about a half an hour to 45 minutes after I left.
Oh my!
Cam picked him up every night.
Dadgum.
He stared right at the camera, and good enough that I could count the 12 points on him.
Is that right? So he's still out there?
Yep.
Oh wow, wow. Well, maybe you get him this year.
Yep, I'm hoping to.
I heard that. All right.
Got to try to get you guys to get Don to do a seminar up our way, up into Toronto or somewhere like that.
I heard that. Well, he can sure do it. Yeah, if we can get us a dealer up there or something to get a show, we'd love to do it.
Yep.
Love to do it.
That's what we need to do.
I heard that. All right.
All right, you have a safe one, Steve.
Well, thank you, Pat. Appreciate you calling in tonight.
All right, thanks for listening.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, folks. Going to Facebook. All right, we're going to Facebook. Always got a bunch of Facebook questions coming in all the time, so we'll try to do our best to keep those caught up. Let's see, we got Francis Smith that says, how are ticks attracted to humans, and do they have a sense of smell? Well, ticks are really attracted to just about anything warm-blooded. They're attracted to that heat. They don't have a sense of smell. What a tick does, they'll get kind of sit themselves on a weed, and that's how they attach to you. They kind of lay out and ready, and as soon as you walk by, they drop on you just like that. They drop off the weed right onto you. You kind of brush up against them, and they stick to you like glue. But and that's the way they do once they get their claws into you. It's hard to get them off. But basically, no, they don't have a sense of smell. They're attracted. I don't know if you ever killed a deer, but you've seen if you've killed a deer, it's just as soon as the deer is dead and the blood supply starts being diminished, them ticks start coming out by the hundreds. At least they do down in this neck of the woods, but down in the south, and I'm sure it is, other places as well. But I hope that answered your question. So we got another Facebook, Ross Meyer. From Waukesha, Wisconsin, I think. It says Waukesha, Wisconsin. I'm not sure if I said that right. It says, what does a snort wheeze really mean? A snort wheeze is basically, in a nutshell, is usually a dominant buck will do a snort wheeze to basically tell other bucks to stay away from his doe. Usually he'll have a doe that he's with, or a lot of times he'll have a doe that he's with, and he is basically snort wheezing to keep a perimeter around her. If they get in that perimeter, he snort wheezes to tell them to back off, to get away from her. That's his doe. So that's basically what a snort wheeze is. And I have down here, I've actually had snort wheeze to run a deer off, to run a buck off. You got to be careful when you do a snort wheeze and kind of what it will run off an inferior buck. So have to be careful when you do use snort wheeze. But grunting, we're a big fan of grunting along with using our scents. Works fantastic. So, but yeah, that's what a snort wheeze is. All right, we got another Facebook. It says Colin Cole from Central Nebraska. It says, why do some bucks fight to the death while others don't? Well, that's a tough question, really. I mean, that's really hard to answer. If I had to, really, my best guess would be it really goes on probably hormone levels in a deer and aggression, probably testosterone levels more than anything. And related to how aggressive they get. But, I don't know if that's a question we can answer, really, or anybody can answer, honestly. That's my best guess, anyway. So anybody knows any better than that or has a better answer, please let us know. That's really probably the best I can do. I'll shoot that one to Don as well, see if we can't follow up with that, see if he has a better answer for that. So I think we're going to a commercial break, guys. We'll be right back.
From Don Bell, the founder of Code Blue, comes Top Secret Reserve Doe Estrus, the finest doe estrus ever collected. Top Secret oxygen-free collection process is a complete generation above Code Blue. Our patent-pending collection process means no ammonia and no ammonia smell. At a limited quantity of 12,000 bottles, only 0.1% of hunters will be lucky enough to add Top Secret to their arsenal. Visit TopSecretDeerScent.com today and join the 0.1% club.
All right, folks, we're back, and we're that part of the show where we always like to talk about the 1/10 of 1% Club. The 1/10 of 1% Club is sponsored by Top Secret Deer Scents, and if you're not aware, if it's the first time you've watched the show, the 1/10 of 1% Club is just what it says. It's there's 12 million deer hunters, and there's 1,200 bottles of this right here, the best deer urine that you've ever seen on the market, and therefore 1/10 of 1%, 1,200 bottles for 12 million deer hunters. So pretty exclusive club there, guys. This is 26 ounces of estrus, and this is in-process urine collected. They'll pull the old boy off the doe, so it's in-process urine, so it's the finest you'll get. Works out, if you figure out the price per ounce, you can't beat the price. It's really good. So you can get your bottle and you have your whole season right there. So and we also have it in breeding buck. This is from a mature buck in process. So and this is a mature doe that we collected. 3 or 4 or 5 year old doe. It's not a young doe, it's a mature doe. So it comes that way with Scent Saver. So you can get it one of two ways. You can either pay for it up front, it's $100. You can pay for it up front and you can get your bottle right now, or you can forepay and pay for it $25 a month over 4 months. It'll automatically debit the card for 4 straight months there, and you can say, hey, ship it to me in September right before the season, and set your ship date, and we'll ship it out in September or wherever whenever you want it, according to whatever the rut is in your part of the world, and we'll ship it to you before the season starts. So keep it fresh here for you. But I know we got a lot of things. We got somebody. Okay. I think they've already flashed it up on the screen, but I know we've got a lot of benefits to the club. So check that out, and we got a phone caller coming in, so we're going to take this call. All right, this is Steve Burklow standing in for Don Bell. Who we got?
Adam Mays from Amherst, Wisconsin.
All right, big buck country.
Yeah, it ain't bad right where I was. It's a farm country and some decent woods.
Oh, I heard that. Oh, that's good. Well, they usually grow them bigger up there than what we're used to down here, that's for sure. But well, Adam, what's your question tonight?
Well, we do have a lot of agricultural fields around us, but I am a pretty big food plotter. I plant food plots, and I got my kill plots. During the rut, I like to hunt my kill plots. Am I better off hunting my kill plots right on them, or maybe setting up like 75 yards away? And then I guess for scent-wise, what would you do for scent, or would you be using scent around your food plot?
Yeah. Are you gun hunting or bow hunting or both?
Definitely doing both. I mean, probably more with the bow. But yeah, we have gun hunting over food plots also.
Yeah. Well, honestly, this is kind of what I like to do down here. Hopefully, of course, it apply up there, but I like to early season, bow season, especially early season, I like to hunt food plots. Down here, it seems to be very effective. Deer are not as skittish. They hadn't been pressured in a while. So, that's my favorite time to be on a food plot. But after that initial 2 to 3 weeks, I always back off the food plots and get, like you said, get 75, 100 yards, 50 yards on the best trails, or the primary trails coming into the plot. Just to me, I don't know, Adam, and you may have observed it over the years, but it just seems like to me that the more mature bucks are timing their walk to darkness on that food plot, and they're I mean, there's going to be 2 and 3 year old bucks come out during daylight even after that initial period, but just the great chance of seeing a good buck just seems like to me I'm always usually in the woods. That's not always, but and when the rut starts coming, I will certainly move back to the food plots because, of course, they'll let their guard down, and after that doe, they kind of lose their mind. And that's when they're vulnerable, of course. So that's kind of the rule of thumb that I go by. I don't know if you've had any success with that or done it differently. What's your thoughts?
No, I agree. It seems like when you run cameras over food plots early on, or like when they're in velvet, you get tons of pictures of big bucks, and you get a lot of daylight pictures of big bucks. Like I say, as soon as they go to hardhorn, you got that first couple of weeks, like you said, to where you can still pattern them a little bit in that food plot. But as soon as mid-October rolls around, yeah, I mean, you might get 1 or 2 pictures a week of a big buck on a food plot. It's most likely not going to be in the daylight. So no, I would agree. Last year, for youth hunt around here, it's the first week of October, and my daughter shot a nice buck. We never went in the woods until the youth hunt in that area, and she shot a nice buck about 75 yards off the food plot. It was cruising through in the morning, so early on, just like you said.
Yeah, I mean, we've had really good success doing it that way. I don't know. It's almost like, invariably they get spooked with the food plots, and they just don't want to come out until it gets really dark. At least that's the way it is down here, and so we really have a lot better success by getting on those trails or getting back in the woods a little bit and trying to catch them before they're staging up out there. So, yeah, that's kind of how we like to do it.
Are you using a scent drag, either like from where you're entering your hunting spot or halfway to your stand? Are you using a scent drag of some sort once the rut gets rolling, or pre-rut?
Yeah, I use scent every time I go in the woods. So early bow season, I'll just use buck urine, and I like to use the foam, and I say that a lot on the show because the foam is just easy to use. You can just pump it and shoot the foam out, and I'll do it about every 3rd or 4th step. I'll put out a couple of pumps of the foam, and it's just easy. I don't have to use a drag or anything. I can just grab it out of my pocket and shoot it on my way into the stand, and I'll carry it past my stand about 20-30 yards. So hopefully a buck will hit the trail and walk by my stand, so I can draw on him as he's going behind, past me, and it works. It works great. And of course, I'll add the estrus whenever the does start getting chased. So I use it every time. Every time I go in the woods, I use it. So it don't work every time, but it definitely increases your chances for sure.
Well, I suppose with using the scent every time, even if a big buck wouldn't follow that scent in, it might cover up your scent.
Yeah.
Or he wouldn't know that you're there, I suppose, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It don't smell good, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Not to us humans, anyway.
One more question about
sure.
That. Are you big into like mock scrapes? I got one of my food plots is a big old apple tree, big gold crab apple tree. It seems like it's one of those scrapes that's there every year after year after year. So should I start putting scent in that right away and kind of keep it through the whole season, and as the rut goes, start doing doe and buck urine in that mock scrape?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, absolutely. You can do buck urine to start with and kind of hit it once you go in. Just hit it a couple of times, and then once does start, once the rut kind of starts kicking, add that estrus to it, and you can do both. And yeah, absolutely, I would, absolutely, without a doubt.
Okay.
Yeah. But well, hopefully you'll have some great luck this year, and send some pictures in to us so we can post them on the website.
Yeah, we definitely will. Actually, we had a pretty mild winter, so I've been shot hunting quite a bit here these last couple weeks, and have not found any dead deer, nothing like that. So I would have to think it should be a good year.
Great. Well, that's fantastic. Well, man, I appreciate you calling in, Adam, and man, call in again, and we appreciate it.
You bet. Sounds good. Thanks a lot for answering my questions.
All right. Thanks, Adam.
You bet, man.
All right. All right, folks, we're going to go back to some question and answer. That was some good questions by Adam. I hope that took care of that. We're interested to see if how that works this year. But we got Ross Meyer from Wichita, Kansas, and says bucks seem to posture and size each other up. It says, why does one always end up running away after a standoff? Well, that's just kind of it's just a buck's nature. It's just kind of inbred into them. Once they get their butt whipped, one of them's going to run off. Because basically, that dominant buck, it's the whole reason they're fighting. One of them has to leave, and so whenever one gets whipped, he knows it, and that's just nature. Whenever he's whipped, he's gone. So he'll end up running off. So that's just part of a whitetail. They do so many things that you just wonder, man, that's really weird. But if you'll notice, they all do it. So it's inborn into their DNA. So that's what they do. All right, we got another Facebook, and this is from Des Moines, Iowa. And this says, I've already picked 4 ticks off of me. I ordered BioShield. What else do you suggest to keep them at bay? When you say BioShield, I don't know if you're talking, but if you just got the spray, but we got BioShield, I know I covered it the first part of the show. Make sure if you got BioShield, if you got the hair and body wash and the laundry detergent as well, because with ticks especially, you want to use the laundry detergent to kind of get your clothes infiltrated with that scent. And for the laundry, that really will help keep them off your clothes. Of course, keep them off your clothes, keep them off your skin. So definitely use the laundry. Also, hair and body wash, that'll put that scent on you as well. And then, of course, the most important is the spray. Spray down real good with the spray. You do all 3 and you got triple protection. It works great for keeping ticks off of you. So if you hadn't done that, be sure to do it. But BioShield spray, by and large, will keep ticks off of you very well. So just make sure to use it liberally. Spray down real good with it. So I hope that answered your question. So all right, Tom's saying commercial break. So we'll take a commercial break, folks. We'll be right back.
Rise and shine. It's time to hunt.
Repel and kill the bugs that bug you most with the all-natural 100% deep-free BioShield.
You've waited your whole life for this moment. Don't spoil your opportunity because of poor preparation. Keep your optics clean and fog-free for a clear shot every time. Fog Zero.
Introducing Scent Defense, a revolutionary 3-in-1 formula from Top Secret. Infused with antimicrobial silver copper synergy technology to attack odor before it starts. Fortified with NeuroX to attack and repel insects instantly. Scent Defense is specifically formulated to attract deer while simultaneously destroying odor. Scent Defense, the 3-in-1 formula for success.
All right, folks, we're back, and we're going back to some Facebook questions. We got Portland, Oregon asked, do bucks typically grunt only during the rut, or do they vocalize throughout the year? Well, that's a great question. One, I'm not positive about off season. Of course, they do during the season, but my answer would be, I really don't think they do. For the most part, they vocalize during the rut. Basically, before the rut kicks in, they'll start vocalizing through grunting. So now, on the other hand, does will vocalize throughout the year. They talk back and forth to their young, and I'm sure you've heard it's pretty neat. You'll hear a doe almost kind of sounds like a goat. They'll make a, or actually, well, the goat, I say a goat, that is like a fawn or or just a yearling will kind of sound like a little goat whenever they're talking back to the mother. But the doe actually sounds like a buck, but it's like a real light grunt, like a woman's voice almost, but it's a grunt, and they communicate that way. It's really neat, and I'm sure you've heard it in the woods, but of course you can definitely tell the difference with a buck. Usually it's a deeper grunt, but typically it's during the rut only when they'll grunt. So if you know of somebody finds a different answer to that, or if somebody knows something much different than that, how about putting that on the show, or actually sending that in through Facebook or the website? That would be great. That would help us out. Wasn't exactly sure about that, but I'm pretty sure that it's only during the rut. So be interested to see if anybody has something different about that. We also have another Facebook question. This is U.S. Marine Alex Joel Wilcox, stationed in Camp Pendleton, California. And he's asking, what's the difference between tarsal gland versus buck urine? And if I hunt late season, which should I use and how shall I use it? That's a great question. Tarsal gland, of course, deer's tarsal glands are located. That's also called the hocks. They're on their legs. And whenever it gets during the heat of the rut, you can definitely smell those tarsal glands. So basically what a buck will do, they will, during the rut, whenever they squat to urine, they'll what they call rub urinate. They'll urinate on those tarsal glands as it flows down, and they'll rub them together. That's just something a buck does. Actually, a doe does that as well. But the difference is it's just regular buck urine, doesn't have any tarsal on it whatsoever. It's just plain buck urine. The tarsal gland is just what it says. It comes off of the gland, so it smells like that typical hock smell with tarsal, which a lot of deer hunters really like the tarsal gland. I'm a big fan of it myself. I really like to use it during the heat of the rut, or the peak especially. I really like to use tarsal gland. Because basically it's telling another buck, you want to just smell like another buck. So it's good it's almost like a good cover scent, for lack of a better term, I guess. But it's basically telling another buck that there's a buck in the area, and that and it's really you can really smell it pretty loud. So it really does well to let another buck know that there's one in the area. So definitely try out some tarsal. If you ever never used Top Secret, give it a try. I think you'll like it. But as far as using it late season, you can start using the tarsal gland as soon as the rut kicks in, all the way through the end of the season. Buck urine, use it the first day of bow season all the way through to the end of the season. All year long you can use buck urine, and it won't spook a deer. It'll attract bucks. So definitely use it. And like I told somebody a while ago, I've had buck urine from Top Secret. I've had it attract does amazingly well. So use buck urine every day of the season. So I hope that answered your question. Try the tarsal with the Top Secret. I think you'll really like it. I don't think I'll have a bottle up here, but it really has a smell it's quite different. And if you've hunted long, you know that hock gland on the back legs has a smell that definitely gets really loud whenever hunting, or whenever the rut starts getting right in the heat of the rut. So got another Facebook question. Lauren Davis from Little Rock, Arkansas says, will a deer blowing ruin the remainder of your hunt? And I think we had that question maybe last week or the week before. And that's a good question, Lauren. We've actually had that question, I think, 3 or 4 times. But a deer blowing, to me, does not ruin a hunt. And I've often wondered that, sitting in the woods, and I've had a doe out there blowing just nonstop. But I'll tell you, I've killed bucks right after that. And same hunt, 30 minutes later, an hour later, 2 hours later. It does not, it may put them on alert for a little bit, but it does not. Does, and they blow especially a doe, will blow quite often in the woods. So I'm not saying a buck is immune to it, but it doesn't spook him enough to totally leave the area usually, unless the reason they're blowing it, they got a predator or something really that they can put their eyes on and they see. Now that's a different, like if a coyote or a bobcat or something that they can see, that may run them out. But otherwise, I would not get down and move because something's blowing and you think it's messed up your hunt. I wouldn't do that. You'd probably be worse off getting down and moving than staying where you're at. So, hope that helps. We also got Facebook from Jonathan Baker from Moore, Oklahoma. How do you convince a buck away from a doe? And is there any technique you'd suggest? I guess that means how would you convince a buck to come away from a doe that he's with? Well, sometimes that can be very tough. If he's locked down with that buck, it may be nearly impossible. Locked down with that doe, it may be nearly impossible to get that buck away. The only way you might do it, if he's a dominant buck, you might could get a snort wheeze to bring him away from her. That way, that's really an infringement right there. And if he thinks that he may have a buck in there trying to get after his doe, that may pull him away. I don't know. That's a good question. That'd be tough because sometimes they're locked in and you just can't do it. But try a snort wheeze. I'd try a snort wheeze. See if that would work. But more than likely, he's going to be locked in with her. So hopefully that'll help. So. All right, let's see. We're still going here with Facebook. And it says Ian Reppert from Carthage, Mississippi. Says, why is some urine color darker than others? For example, tarsal versus estrus. Well, basically, because the tarsal where it is darker, and it's on the hock of a buck. So it just naturally is darker. It's just the makeup is darker from it. So now the estrus urines, as opposed to buck urines, about the same. Really not much difference in those. Of course, Top Secret, vastly different from other brands. As you know, we've preached it on the show. It's basically when oxygen gets to urine for any amount of time, if it's a week, 2 weeks, it's going to look like that. It's going to be dark. So, but Top Secret should look like this whenever you get it off the shelf. It's clear yellow, should look like that. So vastly different from all the other scents on the market. So got to try it this year. Hopefully get you a big one. All right, let's see. We got another Facebook question. Yeah. All right. Jeff Sanders from Herman, Missouri says, will BioShield work for my pets? I think maybe we had that question last week or a couple of weeks ago. But BioShield will work absolutely outstanding for pets. We use it for pets. As a matter of fact, I think we've been asked recently to bottle it for pets, maybe pet labels. So works great because it is all natural, so it's very safe for your pets. The hair and body wash that we have for the BioShield, we have a Labrador, we wash with it, have cats and we got all kind of animals, but we use BioShield, works outstanding. And we'll spray them down. Of course, when you take your lab out or where your dog running, we'll spray down with BioShield spray. It really works well to keep them off of it. But we've never had a problem with any pet spraying BioShield or using the laundry or anything. Well, say the laundry. My brother's actually even used the laundry to wash his dog down with because it's so concentrated. It really does good. So we don't always recommend that, but using the hair and body wash for your pet to wash in and to spray down before being outside or going running through the woods, it works outstanding. And we've never seen any case where there's been an allergy to it or anything like that. So definitely use BioShield for your pet. We got another. Let's see. Is this I think maybe our last Facebook here? Olivia Johnson from Ashland, Kentucky. Or I'm sorry, Olivia Johnston, Ashland, Kentucky. Why does it seem when deer begin to move, all the deer in the area begin moving? That's a great question, and it's because and invariably that happens, and the deer, it's because they're all alike, and they have that sixth sense, and the deer know when they know when to move. I mean, it's invariably after a rain, if they've been locked down for hours and hours, even for a day or so when it rains, you can bet whenever that rain moves out, first thing they're going to do, you're going to see deer moving all over the place. That's my favorite time to be in the woods, is right after a hard rain like that. And it seems like they're all moving, or during that time when there's a front moving through and the temperature is dropping over, let's say, like it may be 70 degrees and it drops down to 30 in a matter of 5 or 6 hours. That time that it's dropping is absolutely one of the best times to be in the woods. So it's just something, Olivia, that's innate into a deer's DNA, like we talked a while ago. They definitely think and act the same way as one another. So it's just, to them, they're not even thinking about, well, what's Charlie doing down the street? Is he moving? What's he doing? Is he staying inside today? They don't even think about it. They're moving, or they're not moving. So kind of hard to explain that, I guess, but that's really the only way I know to explain it. It's just something that's inbred in their DNA. So hopefully that helps. Let's see here, folks. I know we're about ready to close the show, but let's see. I want to go over, one thing. We hadn't talked about Fog Zero. I don't think we did last week, and we missed it, so I did want to, if new viewers to the show, I don't know if you tried Fog Zero. I know we've been talking about BioShield a lot this part of the season, but also this time of year, and always, Fog Zero works great. We have Fog Zero in a 2-ounce spray, have an 8-ounce spray for your windshields, 2-ounce sprays, great for glasses, scuba gear or scuba goggles. Tom drives a motorcycle. He likes it for his helmet. Works fantastic. It works for weeks at a time. It'll clean it and keep the fog off of it. This is our Express model right here, Fog Zero. Great for sunglasses. You put your solution on your sunglasses. Has a towel in the cap. You just pull it out, and you got a microfiber towel to wipe it down with. And it works outstanding for keeping your glasses clean and keeping them fog free, especially down here in the South when you step outside and when it's real humid and your sunglasses, first thing they do is get real foggy as soon as you step out of the car or out of the house. So that'll take care of that right there. So if you hadn't tried Fog Zero, hit the website. A lot of retailers carrying Fog Zero. If you can't find it though, we always have it on the website. It's a great product. We're very proud of it. And we also, of course, we really push the hunting model. This is for the deer hunters. This one also has a brush and a buffing pad in it as well. So great for binoculars. You can take the brush and clean out the large debris, and then of course you have the fog-free solution that you can clean out and keep it fog-free. So. Well, folks, it's about it, about all the time we have for this week. Don should be back next week, and we both actually should be here next week taking questions and looking forward to the hunting season coming up, and looking forward to your questions. So send them on Facebook, call in. We want to hear you any way we can. Send them to the website. We'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week.